So with that, I will turn it over to our hostess and winner of the first contest.
All right, thank you. Okay, so welcome to our second annual J. Clarke Rountree Outstanding Student Speaker Contest. That's a lot to say. First of all, I want to say that my name is Serenity Andrus, and like Dr. Saunders said, I have won the last competition, and it is an honor to be here today with you all. So first and foremost, I would like to introduce our Communication Art Department Chair, Dr. Gilchrist Petty.
Thank you, Star. Well, good evening to everyone. It's so beautiful to see about 30 of us after hours. Thank you so much for joining us on our second official J. Clarke Rountree Outstanding Public Speaking Student Competition. And Star is right, that is quite a bit to get out. But you know, this competition was named after our wonderful colleague, Dr. Clarke Rountree, who holds the record as the longest serving faculty member in the Communication Arts Department. After more than 30 years of service, Dr. Rountree retired this past May, but the great legacy he left for our department absolutely lives on. So it's only fitting for this competition to be named after him. You know, at its foundation, communication focuses on how people use messages to generate meaning within and across various contexts. One of the most obvious ways that communication is displayed is through public speaking, hence the relevancy of this particular competition. I applaud our top speakers for seizing this opportunity to exercise your speaking skills, and I'm sure you all will do just as well as Star and our other contestants did in our previous competition. Thank you to Dr. Saunders and Mrs. Scroggin for their superb work in putting together this competition. They, along with our other robust, diverse, and talented faculty, do an excellent job of providing our students with a quality and experiential education. I, in particular, thank our CM 113 public speaking instructors because they are the ones who provide the instructional resources and the speaking opportunities for our speakers to grow and develop their speaking skills that we're going to hear tonight. UAH has been offering speech classes since 1964, and we formally became a department in 1987. Since then, we have grown to feature both minor and major degree programs. We also partner with the English department for our writing major, and we offer a master's degree in professional communication. The study of communication is so expansive and provides students with great opportunities to tailor the degree to your individual interests and your future career plans. Our graduates, they go on to work in a number of professional areas, including public relations, advertising, journalism, professional speaking, social media, education, broadcast, human relations, marketing, and the list goes on and on. So if any of you are innovative students and you love speaking, writing, thinking, and critically analyzing different episodes of human engagement, I encourage you to consider our excellent degree program. So thank you all for attending. Thank you so much to our judges. We really appreciate your talent and your time, and I can't wait to hear from our great speakers. So now I'll pivot back to Star.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Gilchrist Petty. Like she said, Dr. Rountree was a great teacher. I had the pleasure and the privilege to be able to have a class with him, legal argument, and it was amazing. I'm not necessarily great with legal argument, but tremendous. It was a tremendous class. I learned a lot. Now I would like to turn it over to our Director of Communication 113 courses, Mrs. Nicole McDavid. My apologies.
It's okay. Thank you, Star. So Dr. Saunders asked me to talk just a little bit about the public speaking course as a whole. For those of you that are currently taking public speaking or have taken public speaking, you have some idea about this course in general, but I'm going to just give you a little bit of an overview about it. So the public speaking course is designed to provide students with a theoretical and practical background with the goal of improving their speaking skills and creating confident speakers who can speak in a variety of contexts, from informing to persuading to creating different types of ceremonial speeches our students leave each class with a diverse knowledge of the discipline of public speaking and how to use the elements they have learned in future classes and careers. And as Dr. Gilchrist Petty spoke about, really the heart of our classes are the teachers who teach it. We have both professors, we have lecturers, and we also have part-time lecturers that teach the class and graduate teaching assistants. And one of the things that I love about being the director of 113 is getting to interact with all of these different instructors and see their unique view and take on different aspects of the class. While we have consistent standards across the board, for me, one of the high marks of our department is the fact that we do have creativity within those different types of speeches and the different activities that we do within the particular course that have each of our students that come out of these courses. And it's a lot each semester. I think I was trying to tally up the numbers a few minutes ago in my head. And I mean, it's close to, I think, about around 200 plus per semester or over that at least. So it's a lot of students that come through our course each semester. And it just gives our students each a great opportunity to participate in this great source of public communication that is part of the communication arts discipline.
Thank you, Ms. McDavid. And I just wanted to piggyback off of what she was saying. Public speaking is, it's great for any field that you're in. And I absolutely love the course. It does challenge your creativity and it definitely helps boost your confidence. So listen, pay attention, take advantage of the courses and what they're teaching you. It's definitely going to help you in the long run. And now I would like to introduce Professor Kristen Scroggin.
Well, hey, everybody. I am lucky enough to introduce you to three people that I also consider friends, but are fabulous impacts on the Huntsville community at large. First, I'm going to introduce to you Greg Screws. Greg Screws, if you want to wave your hand. Yeah, tell them a little bit about you, Greg.
Well, I have been doing this a long time, this news thing. I still really have a lot of fun with it. I enjoy the newsroom. It's crackling, and that's an environment I like. And I appreciate the opportunity to hear the college students engage and do this. I'm really interested in this. I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate I realize you could have asked anybody, and I appreciate the opportunity to be involved.
I'm glad you're here, Greg. Okay, this is also my girl, Jana. And Jana and I have done a lot of stuff with the Huntsville Airport, where she just killed the marketing all over the place and helped people win some giant awards, I believe, Jana?
We did. Last year, we took home the #1 small airport in the U.S. and won multiple marketing and communications awards in my 6-year tenure while we were at the airport.
But now you're doing some new cool things over at Summit 7?
Yeah, so 6 years at the airport, like I said before that, about 12 years in shopping center development at 18 malls across the Southeast, and most recently have moved over to Summit 7, which is a technology and cybersecurity company here headquartered in Huntsville, and so hoping to continue to work for North Alabama in that way and secure this as an area for cybersecurity where people look to us for expertise.
Awesome. Glad you're with us, Jana. And then we've got Pammy. Pammy Jamar Pammy knows every single person in the city of Huntsville. She does, and they all like her, and that's what makes her the most valuable asset to the city is no one hates Pammy. And Pammy works for the Chamber of Commerce, specifically with all things small businessy. Last time we were talking about it, but I think you might have expanded even more. So tell me more about what you're doing, Pammy.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much, Kristen. So I'm over here struggling with technology, right? So I live out in the country, and so my phone isn't working and this is freezing, so please bear with me. And I am a Gen Xer, Kristen, so okay. So anyway, I'm Pammy Jamar. I am the Vice President of Small Business and Events at the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber of Commerce, your Chamber of Commerce. I am responsible for all meetings, and events outside of government affairs at the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber. I'm also responsible for helping small businesses expand and grow. Those small business or individuals that are thinking about starting a business, I provide them with all the necessary resources to make that dream happen. And I'm happy to be here. And public speaking is one of the best. So I'm really excited.
And you do a lot of it, Pammy. I mean, all three of these people have done a lot of public speaking. They've done a lot of press releases, so many of those things that you are learning in your classes every day that you occasionally are like, when am I ever going to use this? Well, let me promise you, these people can tell you, you use the heck out of communications. There's lots of classes that you take in college that you walk away and say, why did I spend money on that? But I promise you, when you are fighting with your teenager, you'll be glad you took this class. Okay, I swear to you. All right. So that's it for me on my end. Star, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thanks so much for coming, judges, and we really appreciate you. And I have a goodie coming your way soon.
All right. Yes, thank you, Professor Scroggin, and thank you, Greg, Jana, and Pammy for being here with us. So now we will get into the meat of this competition with our first speaker tonight. It's going to be Sarah presenting her speech entitled "Smile in the Stress."
Thank you, Serenity. Can everybody hear me well enough? Good? All right. So, America is stressed out, really stressed out. But what if I told you that you could reduce your stress and the stress of others with one simple tool? And you already have that tool because it's free and it's right under your nose. No, literally, it's right under your nose. I'm talking about smiling. So I've become really interested in smiling, especially the science of it and its effects on stress. Accordingly, I've done a lot of research, and it's pretty astonishing what I found. So today I'll share with you why stress is a problem, why you should smile more for yourself, and why you should smile more for others. So we've all experienced stress and the negative effects that it can have on our lives on a personal level. However, many of us do not realize just how big of a problem stress really is across the nation. So a recent Gallup poll showed that America is among the most stressed nations in the world. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, it says it's disabled. So I'll just go ahead and tell you the numbers. The stress level is 55% in America. So over half of us are stressed out here. And that number is 20% higher than the average out of 143 polled nations. In addition, the American Psychological Association's 2019 Stress in America survey showed that Gen Zers, my generation, is the most stressed of all, which means that stress is becoming a more and more relevant problem. One big component of this is workplace stress. A 2019 article on the American Institute of Stress website says that over 83% of Americans experience job stress. That's a big number. In addition, that stress costs U.S. businesses up to $300 billion per year. And that's not even including the $190 billion worth of healthcare costs yearly from stress. But not only is stress bad for business, it's bad for our health. A 2019 article by Michael Ashworth, PhD, said that over 43% of Americans experience negative effects on health from stress. And up to 90% of all doctor's visits relate back to stress. And this is because stress can, quote, disrupt almost all of the body's natural processes and increase the risk for numerous health problems. And that's straight from the American Psychological Association. So as we can see, stress is a huge problem. But let me share with you the power of smiling, a simple and effective way to reduce stress. So let's talk about the science of it. It has to do a lot with hormones. When you smile, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin. And those are basically two happy hormones, one of which I really like because it has my name in it. On the other end of the spectrum is cortisol, and that's released when you are stressed or when you make negative facial expressions, the opposite of smiling, such as grimacing, frowning, scowling, and such. So if you smile when you are stressed, the dopamine and serotonin are released, which combat the cortisol that is related to stress. So, in addition, one more little sciencey fact for you is that smiling is a positive feedback loop, which means that when your brain is happy, it makes you smile, and when you smile, it makes your brain happy. So it's just this win-win situation. In addition, I've got one really cool statistic for you. In Ron Gutman's book, Smile, The Astonishing Powers of a Simple Act, I quote, British researchers found that one smile can generate the same level of brain stimulation as up to 2,000 bars of chocolate. I'm not sure how they got that number or if it applies to everybody because I really like chocolate, but it's a pretty cool statistic. Now you may be wondering, what if I don't feel like smiling? Do fake smiles work? Fortunately enough, yes, fake smiles have the same effect. In fact, the Association for Psychological Science, they did a study that said smiling during brief stressors can help reduce the intensity of the body's stress response, regardless of whether a person actually feels happy. So you can smile even if you don't feel happy and get the same benefits that we just talked about. So we've seen that smiling can help you to cope with stress. And you may have heard that smiling is contagious. But is that true? Can you really spread your smile to others? Again, fortunately enough for us, yes. Smiling is contagious. And the reason is because when you see somebody else smile, it triggers something in your brain called mirror neurons, which make your brain happy and make you want to smile. So, you know what this means. If smiling reduces stress and you can spread your smile, then that means you can reduce other stress just by smiling yourself while you're reducing your own stress. So it's a win-win situation all around. So in conclusion, stress is a huge problem, as we've seen. In addition, America is more stressed now than ever. So now more than ever, it's important to use the tools that we have, especially the free ones that we don't even have to go get, to cope with the stress and avoid the negative effects that it can have on us. So let's try it together. Let's smile and see what a difference we can make. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I thought that was great. I love to smile first and foremost. And I also thought those were some pretty great statistics, especially dealing with business. I didn't even realize how much, that could cost the business. And if anyone has ever been working out and done a really hard workout, because I run track, and smiled, it works. I promise it works. It actually works. So yes, now without further ado, we will have our second speaker for the evening, Mr. Cody Holland, who will be speaking on his speech entitled, Be Aware of Mental Health Awareness.
All right. Can everybody hear me? Good. Awesome. Well, good evening, everybody. I thank you very much for this opportunity. Sarah, wonderful job on your speech. I'll have to make sure I can encourage myself more to smile and encourage others around me too. So yeah, I'd just like to get started. I think we've all heard this joke because we've all been in college. Man, college absolutely sucks. I just hate everything that's going on. I wish I could die. Or maybe this homework is so tough it makes me want to kill myself and just be done with it. And while we may understand these to be jokes, these flippant remarks are incredibly harmful and they're dangerous because they make light of a very serious problem in society, and that's mental illness. So tonight, I hope that I can persuade you to become more informed and take a mental health awareness and first aid course to be able to help those around you. There's a few reasons I think that it's valuable to take one of these courses. First, The prevalence of mental health problems in our society is incredible, especially among college age people. And second, it's very important for it to become destigmatized because right now, even in Western progressive societies, it's still a very taboo issue to talk about. And finally, we can become better equipped by taking a course such as this to help those around us who are suffering. And I think this is personally relevant not only to myself, but to all of us, because there are tons of people around us who struggle with mental health problems and diseases. According to the Suicide Prevention Resource Center, in 2017, suicide was the leading cause of death among youth and young adults. And that's an incredibly disparaging statistic to hear. So I've taken a certified mental health awareness and first aid course, and it was very beneficial to me. I've conducted further research on the topic, and I also have firsthand experience with several relatives who struggle with mental health diseases. So hopefully I can bring some useful information and experience to this discussion. So first, let's talk about the prevalence of mental health problems within young people. According to Teen Mental Health, in an article entitled Mental Disorders, 20% of young people suffer from mental illness. So if you look at a college class of 20 people, that is 4 people who are struggling. If you look at the 10,000 or so registered students at UAH, that is 2,000 people that are struggling with mental illness. And this problem only seems to be getting worse for college students. The American Psychological Association in 2013 conducted a survey where they noted that 70% of college counseling directors had discovered that the number of students with severe psychological problems coming to them had increased. And I think we're all aware that the COVID-19 pandemic has also created even more problems for students. Texas A&M conducted a survey in spring 2020, right around the beginning of quarantine and lockdown in America. And they noted that over 2,000 college students, among that, 71% reported their stress and anxiety levels had increased due to the pandemic. Of those numbers, 20% were struggling with suicidal thoughts. So it's clear that mental illness is a large issue for people our age. But what is preventing the turning of the tides in this ongoing war on mental illness? It's stigma. Destigmatization of mental health comes through being informed. And a course like this helps you to understand what types of things mental illness sufferers experience in their day-to-day lives. Bill Clinton once said, "Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all." Stigmatization primarily stems from a lack of knowledge, and this leads to shame and embarrassment that become large barriers for people who are seeking treatment, oftentimes leading them to not do so. In 2010, Babbitt said, quote, "Stigma in principle is caused by a combination of ignorance and fear, which is creating a foundation of rooted myths and prejudices," unquote. So it's clear that it's not only harming those that suffer, but it also spreads misinformation and further contributes to the problem. Knowledge and understanding leads us all to deeper compassion. Over a 20-year study conducted by the U.S. Burden of Disease collaborators, they discovered that severe depression was just as disabling as quadriplegia. So people who struggle with depression are as incapable of completing certain tasks as those who have the no use of their arms or legs. So this really helps to contextualize the difficulty that someone with severe depression has to overcome when they're facing an episode, just in day-to-day life. But some people don't think that education is a valuable tool for combating stigmatization. Davidson, in an article, "What Else Can We Do to Combat Stigma?" argues against education being effective. He says that it's due to its inability to alter attitudes and long-lasting behavior in those who are stigmatizing others. So I think this is a good argument, but under scrutiny, it falls apart when we consider the type of education. A mental health awareness and first aid course is not designed to degrade or scold or even rebuke poor behavior in those who are stigmatizing the issue. Instead, it puts us in the shoes of those who suffer and allows us to experience, at least to a degree, the plight that they are faced with. And so with that comes a deeper understanding and compassion for their issue. Ignorance is absolutely no excuse in this regard. Plato said it's better to be unborn than untaught, for ignorance is the root of misfortune. And unfortunately, in this case, it's not our own personal misfortune. It is misfortune to our peers, our colleagues, our fellow students that are struggling. So stigmatization can simply be broken down by better understanding the problems that are associated with mental illness. Further, this course teaches you how to recognize and respond to some of these situations. We can become equipped to respond to some of the warning signs. You can learn the symptoms of both physical and mental symptoms that come across with some of these mental illnesses. And you can also understand what might cause them, both in the acute short term and the chronic long term for these sufferers. And you'll also be able to, at least to a degree, understand the red flags of suicide, self-harm, and violence toward others, all of which are very critical to know in order to be proactive against. Also, you'll learn that these responses come with an action plan. Mental Health First Aid USA gives this example. It's called ALGEE, which is really easy to remember. ALGEE. It stands for Assess for Risk of Suicide or Harm, Listen Non-Judgmentally, Give Reassurance and Information, Encourage Appropriate Professional Help, and Encourage Self-Help and other support strategies. So with this, you have a concrete formula to be able to walk through some of the issues that when you experience someone near to you that is struggling. And also, by understanding how it works and how you can learn to combat it, you can counteract the myths that are prevalent within society. For example, when we ask people who are struggling if they're considering suicide, it does not put the idea into their head. That is not a fear that we should have. If someone is exhibiting the signs, we should be there with our action plan to help them through it, because sometimes that can be the single straw that prevents them from going through with their plans. And also, talking about suicide does not mean that they're not serious. That is just unequivocally false. If someone is being courageous enough to seek help, we need to seriously listen to them. We can be there to listen, to give assurance, encourage them to seek help so that they are not going to harm themselves any further and potentially end their own life. So to conclude, I hope you've come to see the value in taking a mental health awareness and first aid course sometime soon. I know in my own life, it has helped incredibly with being able to reach out to those around me and just have a deeper understanding of what they're going through. We see that mental health affects a significant number of young people, and it can be destigmatized through properly informing others about what they experience. And with one of these classes, you can become well equipped to respond to those around you. So if you know someone who struggles with mental illness, I beg you to remember their personal value and understand their perspective to the best degree that you can. We want to be able to learn and understand their struggles so that we can walk with them through them. In 2019, the World Health Organization estimated that 800,000 people die each year from suicide caused by mental illness, and that is disastrous. We can be the line of defense that helps those who feel helpless. So if you'd like more information on one of these courses and just in general on mental health awareness, I highly recommend checking out the Overflow Foundation. That's where I took my course, and reading Mental Health First Aid USA. There is a lot of great information in there to be able to combat some of these issues that we see. I urge you to seek an opportunity to become better informed on mental health so that you too can be part of the solution in this plague. Help be a source of light to your fellow college students, your colleagues, your friends, your family, and take a mental health awareness and first aid course. Thank you.
Is that my cue? Because I thought that was your cue, Dr. Saunders. Is that mine?
Well, first, let me apologize for not having the screen share turned on for Sarah. That was on me. So I apologize for that. But first, let me put our judges into a room so that they can deliberate. Let me make sure I get everybody. All right, I've just invited all of the judges into a room. Hopefully that works. And now I would like to show a short video taken from our comms day 2 years ago when we had the first of these Well, if the thing would move so I could see play, that would be helpful. Here we go.
I chose communication arts because I really like to connect with people and kind of communicate with them. So I knew learning about it would help me advance that and maybe even take it to like a professional level.
I chose communication arts as my major because I used to work in media and I really saw a future in it, and it's a really good way for me to leverage my writing skills.
I chose communication arts as my major because I really like to work with people. The career path that I wanted to take in like advertising and video production has a lot of interpersonal communication, and so I knew as a communication major I would learn a lot of those skills from all the different types of classes that I would be able to take.
I'm in communication theory right now, so that's been actually extremely helpful, learning the different kind of theories and kind of taking communication and kind of breaking it down. Advanced video production has also been something that's been eye-opening, just because it's been fun to kind of get to work as a group and film some adventures.
Probably nonverbal communication. It got me started in the major, and I've carried everything that I've learned from there into my other classes, so probably that. My Church in New Orleans that I just took with my advanced video production class was probably the best experience I've had since I've been in college. Just working with my peers and creating a documentary was just really cool, and yeah, that was probably my best experience.
I'd like to go into a career in broadcast journalism, and I think my communication degree from UAH really helped me into that field.
Once I graduate, I would like to go into PR, maybe get my master's degree someday, and maybe work my way up in a PR firm.
Leaning towards getting my master's in either like video, like in film, or possibly just getting a master's in communication in general, and then going from there.
Looking at going to law school, or potentially going and working for Lockheed Martin in their communications department.
It's got to be an internship where I can possibly go and get a job when I graduate. And it's helped me make connections with professionals in my hometown and in Huntsville.
Personally, I've made a lot of friends that are in the same kind of situation. They like the same things that I do. They're taking the same classes. And professionally, I've gotten into internships that have really helped me make connections with business people, with people who are in different fields and stuff like that. Throughout my college experience as a communication major, I've made a lot of friends, but also I've made a lot of professional connections as well. I can only thank the communication arts department for that, because I would have never met the people that I did, and it's just a great program to be in.
And now I'll turn it back over to Star.
All right, thank you. So I just wanted to talk to you all about what it's like to be a comm major. Again, my name is Serenity Andrews, and this is my senior year here. As a communication major, first and foremost, I love talking about this because the moment I started taking communication classes, I knew it was exactly where I wanted to be and where I needed to be, because all of the professors and all of the people are great. The atmosphere is very open, and it just feels very easy to talk with people, and you truly feel like you can ask as many questions as you need to ask, and you'll learn tremendous things, and you know that your teacher's very passionate about what they're doing, and that's one of my favorite parts. I will also say that while I believe the first thought we have as a communication major is that you're going to have a lot of interpersonal connections and communication, and of course, because it's a part of communication. But one of my favorite things to mention is intrapersonal communication, because I've realized through the courses that this is it makes you very introspective, because you realize that your biases and your perspective plays a very large role in how you communicate with the world, and that other people's perspectives and their biases plays a large role in how they communicate with you and the rest of their world. And so it's very informational, and I've applied it to a multitude of things. Professor Scroggin was saying earlier that, you know, you're going to be excited that you've taken these classes when you're trying to talk to your teenager, but she's not lying at all, because there have been many of moments where I'm just talking to people, or even listening to someone, watching their body language, truly hearing them. And I'm so grateful that I've been a part of these courses and that I've been able to have this knowledge, because like Cody said, the knowledge creates compassion. And so I just think that if this is what you're doing, you really take it to heart. It's a perfect foundational major for life in general, because it can be applicable to so many things. So it's not just something that, you know, I take lightly. I personally, this to me is something more than just a major. It's a lifestyle. It really is. So yeah, thank you.
And now we're just waiting for the judges to finish their deliberation and come back. And we didn't have anything else planned there.
Yeah, well, while we're waiting, I actually wanted to say thank you to Cody. And I also thought that both Sarah and Cody, your speeches were great. And I love that you both chose something that we can all act on ourselves and that we can actually do, not only for ourselves, but for other people. And I think that's amazing. So thank you again.
I'm trying to think of something else to fill the time. I swear I am. And it's kind of hard to just say, we'll talk amongst yourselves for a few minutes. Or look at Dr. Lanius's cat.
Oh, look at your cat.
This is the one that swallowed a needle and had to have surgery.
That was a shocking twist.
Yeah, he oh, my microphone, sorry. It's the
wrong one. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wanted to help cross stitch recently, and so last Saturday evening I found him at the scene of the crime and had to rush him to the emergency vet, where they luckily were able to x-ray and find that the needle was in his stomach still, and they did surgery, and he's doing well and doing great. But there goes my economic stimulus. So
I am so sorry. My dog actually swallowed a feminine product, and I had to rush him to the emergency room at like 9-10 o'clock at night, and definitely had to cough up $200 so he could throw it up. So I understand.
What? I'm like, it's not food. I don't understand. Pets.
It's not even chewy.
I don't understand.
My sister's dog is, we think, half goat. It's eaten puzzle pieces, toilet paper, chocolate. Like, he loves chocolate, which, by the way, is toxic to dogs. And while my sister and her family were staying at my parents', he jumped onto a counter that's like probably 6-7 feet off the floor, found a way to jump onto a counter, skittered across it, and ate my mom's blood pressure pills, but lived to tell the tale. And they had to rush him to the vet.
Wow.
But he survived.
Well, that's good.
He's a goat.
Yeah.
We are back. Ta-da! Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what your schedule is now, Star, but there you go. We're back.
Perfect. I actually think that now it'd just be turned over to the judges or Dr. Saunders to announce who has won this wonderful competition.
Actually, I believe Dr. Gilchrist Petty is the one who will be announcing the winner.
All right. Well, thank you guys. So the judges were thoroughly impressed with both of you. They thought that your speeches had excellent topics, great information. Some of them were even impressed by the sources you cited and say they're going to go and consult them. So that just speaks to how well you guys did. And I'm very happy to announce that our second place goes to Sarah and our first place goes to Cody. Excellent work to both of you.
Yay! Way to go, guys. That was fantastic.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Thank you again, both of you. Congratulations, Cody. Congratulations, Sarah. Thank you so much for having the bravery to actually do this, because it does take bravery to, whether you're on a Zoom call or actually standing in front of them, it takes bravery to present a speech in front of people, which is a testament to your public speaking course. Am I right? Am I right? So yes, thank you all, everyone else, for attending this evening. Thank you, judges. Thank you, faculty, for hosting this event yet again. We are very appreciative for you all being here at our second annual J. Clarke Rountree Outstanding Student Speaker Contest. Still a mouthful to say. And if you are here attending because you are currently taking 113 courses, we are very excited and hopeful to hear your speeches next year. So y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.